What is up, friends? Week 3 in the books. It was a weird one. Certainly not a great one for Terry. Another Monday night deciding a game in this league was pretty wild. I'm going to give everybody a fair warning right now. I've been doing streams this whole week where my internet has dropped out for exactly 1 minute at the 2-minute mark of the show. So you guys might just get Dan for a full minute giving you guys the business. It is week 4 in the MFL, the Massillon Fantasy League. I'm Ryan. He's Dan. We're ready to get this thing started. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Great, and I can't wait. I hope your internet goes out and I can just sit here and talk for a minute.
So, you know a lot of the people I work with at Club Fantasy, Dan. Josh refuses to ever be on screen by himself. So he, I think, panics at the idea that I might fall off for a second. Whereas I think I'm the only one at Club Fantasy who has ever just done a show by myself, which is, as you can attest, Dan, as someone who's had to talk to me for this long, awful, because I just talk for 30 minutes straight nonstop and nobody wants to hear that. So
those are facts.
All right, Dan. So we are 3 weeks in. Not week 3. I've been saying this for all my shows this week. Week 1 and 2, Dan, I kind of felt like went to script. Superstars, for the most part, did what they were supposed to. But when it comes to week 3, I felt like things changed a little bit. The Browns upset the Packers. Just a lot of weird shit went down. Did you have any big takeaways from week 3?
I didn't realize that Taylor was a psychic. I actually feel bad for the guy. I do. I actually feel bad
that he straight up predicted how he was going to lose this match.
I mean, I love the irony of it because that's exactly how he beat me last year.
Yeah.
So the fact that I got to do it to him this year, and the fact he's now 0-3. Don't get me wrong. I was panicking with a minute left in that game. Crap, I'm about to lose to the worst team in this league. There's no worse feeling than knowing you're about to lose to the worst team in the league. It just sucks. So to end up winning was a big relief. It was more relief than joy.
So for me, I'm going to be honest. You guys know I'm an old man. The beard doesn't lie. I went to bed.
You're already in bed.
I went to bed. Me and Terry's chatting me up on Sunday just about how he can't believe he's so happy as a 49ers fan that they won, but Christian McCaffrey doing all the work didn't make him happy. And look at that tight end battle. And obviously Terry and I both thought I was cooked. He needed 9 points out of Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry scores the first touchdown of the game, certainly the first touchdown for the Ravens, maybe the first touchdown of the entire game. But Derrick Henry scores this touchdown. You got to think this game's over. Derrick Henry scores just 7 points, but far more importantly, the Baltimore Ravens defense scores Terry -5 points. So instead of losing by 2, Terry lost by 7 when he most certainly thought he had that game in the bag. And I have not heard from Terry since.
I've talked to Terry since. I did not bring it up because I'm sure that's painful for him.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm starting to wonder, are we seeing the end of Derrick Henry?
I feel like that's happening in a lot of leagues. Obviously, I work for a couple of different websites. I have gotten so many, is it time to trade Derrick Henry questions this past week? It's been ridiculous. Derrick Henry and J.K. Dobbins have been the most asked about trading commodities. You talk about Taylor predicting the future, Dan. I want to give you a little bit of credit on predicting the future. In fact, let me bring the league up on the screen here and throw your roster up because, Dan, a lot of players gained, in my opinion, a lot of value this week. And every time I went to go look for them, they were on your team. So obviously I've been giving you credit for Rome Odunze, but Wan'Dale Robinson obviously didn't have the greatest week 3, but that's a guy I was always really impressed by. Chris Olave leads the NFL in targets. And then Trey Benson, you've knocked it out of the park on filling your bench with the players who are gaining value as we head into week 3.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I was impressed. So obviously you got your thing. You got Terry's thing. I think we need to spend a little bit of time, Dan, on this Jonathan Taylor trade. This was pretty fucking wild to me. Jonathan Taylor in the 7th. Taylor might be the RB1 in our league right now. If not, he's damn close. For Hollywood Brown, Travis Etienne, George Pickens in a 3rd. I think this is selling incredibly low on Jonathan Taylor. I also know for a fact I offered this kid a 1 for Taylor. I didn't offer him all these players. So if Kenny wasn't trying to give up, I get not just taking my 1. But there could have been some negotiation, and it just seems like that is not Kenny's style right now.
The trade made 0 sense to me. You traded Well, I agree with you. He's RB1. You traded RB1 for RB10, wide receiver 20, and a 3.
When there was a 1 on the table, like very strange to me.
Oh,
like,
he could have got so much more. I would have given him a 1, a 2, my 4, a 5. Like, I offered him those exact picks earlier this offseason or earlier this season for him, and he said, "I'm not looking for draft picks. I want players." So
that's obviously he believes in
players. I mean,
I say he believes in George Pickens and Travis Etienne, but just an awful trade. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with Kenny. I know he is not having the best week right now, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. But
I love you, Kenny, but
terrible trade. Second terrible trade. JR is fleecing you, just like the guys
with me.
I was gonna say, just like the guys used to yell at Mendez to stop trading with me. Kenny, stop trading with JR. As someone who has routinely taken advantage of one person in trades, me to Mendez is JR to you right now. You got to do better, my friend.
Wow.
And then, Dan, I want to give you a little bit more credit because you called parity. Dan, after 3 weeks, this has got to be a first for this league. After 3 weeks, there are no undefeated teams in the Massillon Football League.
Yeah, I saw that when I was looking at the standings earlier this week as well. But I think JR, I know his record's 2-1, but I never really thought of him as a top team. But him getting Taylor in that trade, I think JR needs to be in the conversation now for
100%. Let's get to that. He took a playoff spot for me, Dan. So I kicked Terry out of the playoffs. Bad luck. He seems to be Horvath this year of bad luck and snake bitten. I moved JR in. So my new playoffs right now are Stevie, me, Horvath, Rob P, JR, and you. I am still keeping Stevie as my champion. I've seen nothing that would make me want to move off of that quite yet.
So my playoff teams are the Steve's, Rob, JR, myself, I think are going to be in for sure. Ooh. And that last spot comes down to being you or Phil.
Okay. Phil in the chat says he also offered a 1 and more. So come on, Kenny, man. So much better trades out there. At least negotiate. That's all I ask is negotiate. You knew damn well I was willing to move Rashee Rice. And obviously that doesn't help you until week 7, but there could have been deals out there, and I'm sure it sounds like everybody else was willing to make some deals as well. Before we move on to this week, Dan, any things to wrap up week 3?
I kind of go back to Taylor. His record the last 2 years now is 3-14.
I love how you're just continually going at Taylor.
3-14, Taylor. Do better.
It has been a rough run. Actually, let me throw the standings back up on the screen for one last second, but I'll scroll a little bit further to show that there are 2 winless teams in the league as well right now. To Darren's credit, most fantasy points scored by him against him in the entire league at 355. Darren's 0-3. Taylor also 0-3, at least averaging 300 points a game. But I was going to say, it looks like there are only 3 teams in the league not averaging 100 points a game right now. We've kind of always said 100 points is a win, and that is held true for quite a while. But
that's why those 2 are the game of the week this week to see who remains winless.
There you go. That's actually even more interesting, though, that after this week, there will be no undefeateds and only 1 winless team. Dan, let's get into the games. I'm just keeping them in order for scrolling because it makes life so much easier. We're starting this thing off with Weiss versus Weiss. There can be only one matchup. Me versus Stevie. Both teams 2-1. Sleeper right now projecting me to win this matchup by 1 point. I was able to get 9.6 points out of Trey McBride on Thursday. That was the only Thursday night matchup. Dan, it is my game. I'll let you get us started.
I had a little tough one with this one, but I think I like Steve's team a little bit more. I'm going to go with his. I think his has shown more consistency than yours. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you nervous about Herbert now? 15 and 12 points the last 2 weeks after that great week 1.
Nah, I'm not nervous. 15 and 12 is not bad in our league.
Oh,
what is he right now? He's got to be a top.
He's still top 10 because he put up 40 first week. I mean, but 15 and 12, you're gonna accept between 15 and 12 the rest of the year and be like, oh, I'm happy.
No, I mean, I'm not going to be happy with 50. He had 2 bad games. Decent games. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not panicked about Justin Herbert. I'm not panicked about Justin Herbert. Plain and simple. I think he's going to be just fine.
Okay.
And I think that starts this week, cross-country trip against the Giants. But that's still not enough to give my team the win. I also gave it to Stevie. What I will say is you mentioned you had trouble. I also had trouble. I had that the offenses essentially wash each other out. I do have a question for you. I'll get to that in a second. I love Denver's defense this week against your Bengals after what we saw Minnesota do last week. So that is what is giving Stevie the edge in our matchup because I've been terrible at picking fantasy defense this season. So I gave it to Stevie mainly on the back of that. RB2 is going to kill me. If Bill doesn't get his shit together, it doesn't look like he's the guy there. It looks like it's going to be a committee. Or if Denver doesn't hand the ball over to RJ Harvey, I'm probably not a playoff team. You're absolutely right. I think in the next 2 weeks, it's going to make a big difference for me. But Dan, are we concerned a little bit about Baker Mayfield going down to just Emeka Egbuka for probably the next 2 weeks?
Definitely concerned about that. I think Godwin's up playing this week, so I think he has Godwin back with Egbuka. But I feel like when I haven't watched a ton of their games, but from what I've seen him throw it to the ball to other guys besides Mike Evans and Egbuka. So I'm not terribly concerned.
Yeah, he's been getting Sterling Shepard involved, and he still loves throwing to the running back. There's no denying that. So
yeah, I think Baker will probably be fine in the long run. Could he have a week or two, maybe a little down? Sure. Philadelphia's defense is good, so I think it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, Quinion Mitchell, I think, could cause problems for Emeka this week. That's something we've been talking about on my other shows quite a bit. Josh Hudson being a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. Quinion Mitchell in that game against the Rams held Devontae Adams to, I think it was 2 catches for 17 yards or something like that on plays where he was actually covering him.
Interesting. I didn't dive that far into the stats, but good to know.
Yeah, so Quinion Mitchell is looking like a hell of a corner, and with you do bring up they should get Godwin back, but with only really Emeka Egbuka at full strength, and I think he's actually questionable this week as well. He's going to play. I just wonder if it could cause some problems for Baker Mayfield. But
I think it absolutely could cause some problems, but I think he only needs 15 points to be the top quarterback in that matchup. So
I think he needs 16. We move on to the surprise team of the league. JR coming out here with 2-1, going up against Eric. He started a little rough at 1-2. JR projected to boat race this matchup by 21 points. Only game on Thursday was Kenneth Walker getting a pretty pedestrian 8 points. Dan, when I look at this one, I agree with you. JR is certainly moving up the ranks. Getting Jonathan Taylor is a big win for him. So I'm giving this to JR. I like him at every position better except quarterback. I didn't even know that JR got Patrick Mahomes back because that was the whole controversial trade back in the day was when I got Mahomes from JR. But Patrick Mahomes is not the game changer he used to be. I think this Jonathan Taylor trade sets JR up for many, many weeks. And then Eric losing Mike Evans, even though Eric has some decent wide receivers, there's the fact that he has to start Kareem Hunt this week. I don't know if you trust Quentin Johnston. Clearly, you don't trust any of that offense. Xavier Worthy in his very first week back. I just feel like losing Mike Evans puts Eric into a very weird spot for the upcoming weeks, and probably not a lot of games he can win unless Jalen Hurts plays hero.
Yeah, Quentin Johnston. I think he's breaking out for his best year of his career.
Yeah,
but I mean, you still see Keenan Allen getting his numbers, and I just don't know that you can sustain that all season. Both those guys have a monster, like really good games. But I agree, Mahomes is JR's biggest problem.
Yeah. QB9 right now, only one spot ahead of Justin Herbert that I'm out here defending.
But I'm going with JR to get the win as well.
Yeah, I thought you might. We move on to...
Whoa. What did we do last week?
Oh, great call. I always forget that. I need to put a line in the show sheet because I have the records down below. It was not great. You and I both went 4-3, thus meaning we are still tied for first place at 12-9. Darren went 3-4, falling behind us now 2 games. He is 10-11. So 4-3 for me and you, 3-4 for Darren. I was the only one to pick myself to win, which helped me out a little bit there.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I had my speech prepared when I expected you to lose to Terry because we had 2 games we disagreed on, and I knew already you won the Rob one. So I was like, oh, when Terry wins this, I went 2-0 against Ryan. I had my speech prepared for you.
Yeah, you'd have went 5-2 and started to pull away in the game already.
You would have been 3-4. It would have just been a great week of everything great fantasy for me, right, Taylor?
We got Horvath versus Phil. A little bit of Thursday night action, though. Horvath still projected to lose this game by 9 points. On Thursday, Horvath was able to get 10 points from the Arizona Cardinals defense. That was all of the Thursday night action. Dan, how do you see this one shaking out?
I mean, we've talked a lot of junk about Horvath's team being great, really good team. We're counting on them to play really well.
Counting on those wide receivers.
Those wide receivers are a problem for him at this point. They're his biggest weakness. I think getting Caleb Williams is going to help him because he hasn't had a quarterback all season.
Yeah.
What do you think about him spending $170 some on him?
Here's the thing. It wasn't a bad. It was a lot of fab. I was going to bid for Caleb Williams if I can't remember what was going on with my team. I was trying to make a trade where I was hoping to free up a spot just to keep him away from Horvath because I knew Horvath was going to go after him. I don't think I even had that much to bid because I overbid on Caleb Johnson a few weeks ago as a roster hold, but I think I was going to go something like $85 on him. So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible overbid, but I mean, obviously it's double what I was about to pay. But being perfectly honest, it looks, and I know you're not a big fan, like Caleb may have turned a corner. QB3, I was shocked to see that Caleb was even available on our waiver wire. Only thing that hurts Horvath, another bye week in 2 weeks there. So
here's the thing. I don't think there's such a thing as spending too much when it comes to getting a potential QB1. And maybe Caleb Williams has turned a corner. I was wrong on him. I will admit that I am not his biggest fan, but maybe he has turned a corner. Dallas looks like an absolutely awful team.
Worst defense in the league. Absolutely.
So I'm not going to go too much on that. We'll see how he does next couple of weeks if he continues to show potential of being a true QB1. With that being said, that I am not a believer in him, I still don't understand the thought process for Mott's of cutting him and keeping Drake May on his roster.
A lot of people are big on Drake May this season too. They're right next to each other in most rankings. So I was busting Rob's balls a few weeks ago for keeping. Wasn't it 3 quarterbacks he had on his roster?
On his roster. He still has 2.
So who else did he let go?
No, he has 2 still. He has May,
Lawrence,
May and I can't remember who the other one is.
Let's go look for the sake of this debate, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. I would have held May and Caleb. He has Kyler. That's a tougher cut, I guess. Yeah, it's an interesting point. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it certainly seems to have worked out for Horvath on the short term, or in the long term, I guess. On the short term, this is a tough week for it because Jordan Love now gets that Dallas defense. And I think this could be a come out game for Jordan Love playing in prime time. I still like Caleb Williams this week, but I think they kind of cancel each other. I think Horvath losing all these wide receivers. I love Elik Eyamanor. I don't love Isaiah Likely in his first week back. I don't love T. Higgins going up against that Denver defense. This was enough for me, especially when you have J.K. Dobbins on the other side of this matchup. I'm giving this one to Phil.
Yeah, I was taking Phil as well. We kind of got sidetracked before I even made my pick, but I was kind of riding on Horvath's team because I feel like Horvath is keeping that Horvath luck to himself.
Yeah, it's just rough that we looked at this team and said wide receivers are going to carry this team, and then he loses CeeDee Lamb and one other good receiver, I thought.
No, T. Higgins just been awful because of the Bengals.
Oh, because of the Bengals have been awful.
Justin Jefferson has been awful because of the Giants offense or Vikings offense.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah, has not went Horvath's way, and like you said, that's kind of par for the course. Dan, we move on to you versus Rob Motts as you question his quarterback choices. Both teams 2-1. Nobody played on Thursday. Sleeper has this as a 2-point game. I will get us started because it is your game. Basically, this one kind of broke down easily for me. Rob does win at running back, but I like your wide receivers so much better, and that's enough to shake it back. I've been giving you credit week after week. Rome Odunze, I was not bought in. The coach speak was that this guy was going to take over. It has very clearly come true. I love this kid. Such a home run for you. I'm picking you to win this matchup.
I'm taking myself as well. I expect Deion Jones to have a better game than he had last week. I don't love Drake May. I think Williams going against that Green Bay defense is going to have an awful game. Brian Thomas has shown nothing, as have most of the Jaguars.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to turn this show into me giving you credit for the moves you've made, but I was busting your balls for moving off of Brian Thomas. What's this guy right now? The wide receiver, 47. That might be generous. 55 in our league right now. That's rough. It seems like a lot of the moves you made, Dan, have went exactly to par.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
sure you give me all this credit. It means I'm probably going to score 60 points this week and lose, but.
And you know what? That works for me as well. I'm not going to get upset about it.
To you.
Most snake-bitten franchises in the league right now. Dan's favorite punching bag, my brother Taylor, taking on Darren. Darren projected to win this one by 14, though he is currently down by 18. Lots of Thursday action here. Sam Darnold, 12 fantasy points, pulls a Justin Herbert, as Dan would like to call it. Jackson Smith and Jigba, quite boring in this game, 8 fantasy points. Marvin Harrison finally shows up, 15 fantasy points, jumping Taylor out to 36. But Darren starts the Seattle defense, and my goodness, did they have a game. 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 18 fantasy points in our league scoring. Dan, how do you see this one going?
I look at there's neither team is in a great spot, but Bo Nix going against that terrible Bengals defense could have a really good game. And seeing that Sam Darnold only got 12 points already, I'm gonna go with Darren to get the win, knocking Taylor down to 3-15 over the last 2 seasons. So that's my pick.
Yeah, you've been picking on Taylor for a while. Right now it says I'm having internet problems, so hopefully you guys can still see me and hear me okay.
You're doing good, buddy.
I'm also taking Darren. I think there's an edge at quarterback and defense. Sam Darnold looked mid. I think Darren can make up for that quite easily with Bo Nix taking on Cincinnati. And then 18 points out of your defense in the book already. Obviously, Taylor can make up for that, but you can't always count on 18 points. Taylor needs Jaden Daniels back, but I think the issue is, Dan, if he's 0-4 after this week, that's a large hole to dig out of in a 14-game season. So,
well, it's a large hole, but none of his players have shown that they have the capability of even getting out of that hole.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, obviously, you hope for Jackson Smith and Jigba's look good. He was mid this week. You hope for more out of Marvin Harrison, but then nobody else has really stepped up except for Jaden Daniels, who has only played 1 game at this point.
Yep.
No bueno. You got Darren there. Let me update that. All right, we move on to Terry versus Kenny. Terry with the luck of Horvath and Taylor so far this season, and Kenny just trading himself out of contention. Kenny's still projected to win this game by 2 points as Terry gets a mid performance out of Cooper Kupp. We've been continually pointing at Terry's wide receivers as the problem on his roster, Dan, and it seems to be a problem for him right now as well. However, I am still picking him to win this game. I think Terry has a slight edge at quarterback and tight end, and for me, that's enough. When you look at that Dallas offense now with CeeDee Lamb out, Jake Ferguson might be the best tight end in fantasy football, certainly in PPR fantasy football. I made a joke, but I'm barely joking. Jonathan Taylor may have swung this matchup the other way, but he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor, so I'm taking Terry.
I'm actually going with Kenny to get the win.
Okay.
We said from the beginning, Terry's team was dependent on running backs carrying him.
And you talked about the end of Derrick Henry. Let me go ahead and bring him up on the screen right now. Running back 17 in the league right now. All of those points coming in week 1. He has been putrid over the last 2 weeks.
And he's going against a Kansas City defense that's pretty good.
They've done great against the run this season.
I don't trust his receivers. Kenny's team is okay. I mean,
I love Amari Hampton this week. I think this is a breakout week for him.
And if that's the case, I don't see any way that Kenny loses. If Kenny's able to beat him at running back, Terry's not going to beat him enough at the other spots. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can talk about Ferguson, but he has Laporta. I know Laporta hasn't been the same since his rookie year.
Yeah,
but he still has the potential. Any game he can go out there and put up a big game.
Absolutely fair. And then Kenny also has that Green Bay defense, which looks legit. I also think Genty breaks out a little bit this week, though I don't know. I don't have him projected to be better than Laporta. So you're probably right. I'm going to stick with my pick, but this is the first time maybe in the show. No, you've talked me into changing a pick on the show before, but I'm not changing it this time. I'm going to stick with Terry. Bringing us to the most unlikely person in our league to be at 2-1 right now, Greg. Keeps winning games despite not starting lineups, but He goes up against Rob P this week. Sleeper has this as a 23-point beatdown. Nothing went down on Thursday. Xavier Leggett, I don't think Greg has actually changed his lineup this entire season. So he has lost 2 points in the lottery already. I don't know what we're going to do about Greg because this is the second season. You're killing me right now, Greg, but he keeps winning. So I can't say too much of shit, Dan. However, I think that all comes to a swift hold this week as Rob P should pretty well beat him down. Even if Greg pays enough attention to go put Godwin over Leggett, it doesn't change anything in this one for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think JR takes the win pretty easily. We've already talked about how good we think JR's team is.
Yep. Well, Dan?
Not JR, Rob.
Rob P's team. Yeah, absolutely. We have one game difference this week, Dan. We agree. Stevie wins the Battle of the Weeses. JR takes down Eric. Phil beats Horvath. You beat Motts. Darren beats Taylor. Rob P beats Greg. It comes down to Terry versus Kenny to decide if one of us has a lead heading into next week. Going to be a fun one. They'll probably tie for our first ever tie in fractional scoring. So that
I hope that happens.
That wraps up.
I would actually prefer if Taylor and Darren could tie.
Let's get 2 ties. Let's get Taylor and Darren and Terry and Kenny to tie and just have the most bizarre week ever for the Massillon Fantasy League. Dan, you won the game pretty easily last week with Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey. 2 of us had CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb went out before scoring a fantasy point. That was me and Horvath. Horvath actually had Lamar Jackson. Nobody else even came close. And then Rob P said he is no longer playing the game after jinxing Michael Penix. But guess what, Dan? He also had CeeDee Lamb. So that means for the first time in the game's history, Rob P drops a negative in the game. -2 fantasy points for Rob P's best quarterback and flex pick last week. Dan, you had 45 points. Next closest person to you had 27. I had a whopping 7. Do you want to keep the streak alive? Have me pick my team first, or do you want to jump in here?
No, wait, buddy. Go ahead and go first. Rob, keep playing the game. Who cares?
Yep. If you're in the chat, I see there should be some of you in the chat. Give me your favorite quarterback. Give me your favorite flex play. If you win, we'll announce it on the show next week. If you're not a part of this league and you just have a fantasy question, we're pretty good at that, though the show is about to wrap up. We told the guy to start Bo Nix over Jordan Love last week. We were pretty right about that. So sometimes we get things right, plain and simple. Dan, I'm so torn on this Buffalo-New Orleans game. For most of my predictions, I think it's going to be a great James Cook game. But for the sake of the game, I'm going to go with Josh Allen as my quarterback and say that he's going to score all the touchdowns this week. And then when I'm looking at other people who could potentially blow up, I'm going to go with Puka Nacua. I just feel like he's getting so pushed with targets that if anyone's going to have a monster week, it's going to be Puka Nacua. Josh Allen and Puka Nacua are my picks for the game, Dan.
Nice. I like hearing that. I hope that is the case.
Horvath gives us Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson. So Horvath's still sticking with his team, even though we both know what's actually going to happen. Oh, and Phil jumps in with Allen and Barkley. Nathan jumps in. We haven't seen you in a while, Nate. Welcome back with Lamar and Cook. Let me get some of these in, Dan, while you go ahead and tell me who your picks are.
Go ahead and let me know when you're ready there, buddy.
Let me see here. So I got Nathan. I got Horvath. I just need to get Allen and Barkley. So a lot of people think that was Phil. Phil's first time playing the game this season. Allen and Barkley. So right now, Dan, me, Phil, and Horvath, it's all coming down to the flex. Puka, Jefferson, Barkley. As I mentioned, Nate goes Lamar and James Cook, which I think he's kind of counteracting my bet there. Honestly, if you went first, Dan, I would have probably flipped it and went with those two. So I like his picks a lot. What do you got for me?
Just I want to pick some different people than what we've been picking and what all of you guys have already picked. I'm going to go Jordan Love against that Dallas defense. And I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor against that Rams defense.
I did say it could be a Love breakout week, so I like that. And then JT would just be the icing on the cake after today's show with everything we've been talking about. So Dan got Jordan Love and Jonathan Taylor, lots of Josh Allen love. I like the Lamar Cook picks. That would have been my backup pick. So great picks there for Nate. Dan, that wraps it up. Always a tidy half an hour. Parting words for our friends.
I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Hope I get another win.
Yeah, I hope everybody with Stevie has a great weekend. I hope it's a shitty weekend for Stevie, though. The way the league's been going, maybe I'm just wishing for a shitty Monday night against Stevie. I don't even know if either one of us has anybody going in the Monday night game, but I hope we do, and I hope it comes down to Monday night. Stevie texted me jabbing a little bit that he heard I took Trey McBride to make sure he didn't get him back, and I absolutely did that. And then he's like, well, as long as he doesn't go off tonight, and he, of course, doesn't go off and has a pretty average game, so... Our buddy Nate 5-0 in Dynasty last week. Dan, my dynasties have been quite shit as of late. Well, I'll take that back. You and I are in 2 dynasties together. One of them has just been a complete and utter disaster for 3 seasons now. I invested way too much in Bryce Young. Everything has looked bad. But the other one, our 32 team dynasty, going pretty well for me.
I'm doing terrible in both. So
yeah, you're rebuilding in the one, but yeah, not going so hot for you in the other. So shit happens. But yeah, everybody with Stevie, have a great week. Stevie, I hope it's terrible for you. I hope I walk out of this 3-1 and still in the playoff hunt. Make Dan eat his words for not putting me in the playoffs. Everybody have a great night. See you guys next week.
Taylor, I love you. You know you suck at fantasy.